Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another morning of morning devotion with HEDM, House of Esther Divine Ministries. My name is Sister Shantal. If you guys are hearing the banging in the background, I do apologize. So today I'm here to speak on Mary Magdalene. So we're going to start with the meaning of her name. The meaning of her name, the origin is a Hebrew name. The meaning is woman of Magdala. So Mary Magdalene's name is woman of Magdala. That is the meaning of it. So within our devotions, we have a few points that we're supposed to hit. The first one is, what is the most remarkable accomplishment of Mary Magdalene? So Mary Magdalene was a disciple of Jesus. She was also one of the witnesses to witness his crucifixion and the burial of him. But the most important accomplishment or remarkable thing that she's done, she was actually the first person to see him after his resurrection, which we can find that in Mark 16 verses 9 through 11. And at this time, this was remarkable because at those times, women were considered kind of nothing. So it's a big thing that a woman was the first person that Jesus went to after his resurrection. Women were treated like second-class citizens. So this was a very high and significant honor in those times for her to be basically the chosen one that seen him first. What are her most remarkable qualities? So I have 3 listed, which is, first one is profound humility and her strength. She was extremely strong. And her profound humility, Mary perfectly conformed herself to God's will. She saw herself as God saw her, nothing more or nothing less. So we tend to see ourselves as we want to see ourselves, and we come down on ourselves. We're hard on ourselves. But Mary Magdalene saw herself as Jesus would have seen her, a strong, powerful, strengthful woman, and that's exactly how she saw herself. No more, no less. So I caution you guys to think of yourself as the way Jesus would think of you. We tend to be hard on ourselves. Don't be that hard on yourself, because guess what? Jesus always forgives us, so you need to forgive yourself. Give yourself a little break at times, okay? She was lively in faith. Mary eagerly and wholeheartedly submitted herself to God. She joyfully surrendered herself to the Lord and put absolute faith in his word and in his promises. So I'm a person that lives by faith and what is the correct word for it? I live off of faith and energy, right? All my faith and my trust is in the Lord at all times. And I believe in energy so much because I believe in a higher power, and I know that he's here, and I know that he's existing within me. Hence the reason that I believe in energy. I think that you have to surround yourself with positivity at all times, because there's always something negative that's going to come in your way. But if you keep positivity on your mind and your surroundings at all time, it's going to make that negative thing, it's going to give that negative thing a hard time to enter into your space. So I ask that you allow yourself to remain positive, not only today, but every day going forward. Whatever you need to do to make sure that you stay in that positive space, make that your priority. Don't allow anything or anyone to come in the way of your positivity, to come in the way of your faith, to come in the way of your walk with the Lord, because I promise you, they can't do anything for you that the Lord could do for you. Okay? Another quality is divine purity. So in everything in Mary was of God. Her mind, her heart was pure. She lived her life in unity and purpose, seeking only after love and honoring him. For the young people, I appreciate you all. I know that it's hard, even for the older ones. So I shouldn't say just for the young people. For the older ones, I feel like we're a little seasoned in this. So it's probably even harder. It's probably more of a conversation for you that we stay on that track, right? As you become older and you start doing things that's routine and comes repetitive, it comes like second nature. But are you really doing everything in Christ? Are you really trusting him wholeheartedly? Have you really given everything to him? Or is this just I do this every day, so I'm just going to do it again today? Or are you really, really doing it? So I'm cautioning you to think about that. Think about that today. Am I really doing everything that Christ would want me to do? Am I walking in his ways and his truth and his word? Or am I doing it because it's second nature and I've been doing it for 30 years of my life? So that's something for you to think about today. Okay. There's some known facts that came up while I was doing my research. And one is that Jesus cast out 7 demons, which was one of the first things when I Googled her name that came up. All right. So as a spiritual person, we know that the number 7 is completion. Right. So that had me thinking like, okay, wow. All right. I can see. So I believe that by God casting out those 7 demons, it was part of her completion to start her walk and her journey with the Lord. She was considered one of his disciples. She walked with him through Galilee. She helped supply financially. She took care of things for him. She was a disciple with him. She walked with him throughout the different cities that he traveled through. And I do believe that because of him casting out those 7 demons, it allowed her to start a new beginning. It's allowed her to start a new journey, a different journey, where she was able to be the remarkable person that she is, where she was able to acquire the qualities that I just spoke about. You know, things happen in life, and sometimes we think that, oh my goodness, this is like really bad. I can never, or I was in the faith and I was going to church every day and I was so holier than thou, and I was doing things good, and something happens and then you're like, oops, nope, I can't do it no more. I'm worried about what people think. How can I be a backslider? How can I go back to the church? Now I'm sitting in the back of the church, or you're not even going to church at all, or you're not spending the time with those around you who would fill that energy and fill that space for you. But I'm here to say that don't let that cloud your judgment. Don't let that cloud your walk with your higher power. I'm not going to say with the Lord, because millions of people could be watching this. With your higher power. Who you believe in, don't let anyone or any situation or any circumstance cloud your walk with your higher power. In closing, before I close, Mary Magdalene is brought up 13 times in the Bible. Okay, so she's brought up 3 times in Matthew 27, verses 56, and verses 61, verses 28. She's brought up 3 times in Mark. It's Mark chapter 15, verses 40 and 47. Also chapter 16, verses 1. 2 times in Luke chapter 8, verses 1. Chapter 24, verses 10. And 5 times in the Gospel of John. It's chapter 19, verses 25, chapter 20, verse 1, 11, 16, and 18. If you do have a chance, if you make some time to read the word a little bit daily, definitely go in and just take a little look at those scriptures that's speaking of Mary Magdalene. So now in closing, I would like to encourage you to trust in the Lord because he can do all things. Trust in him wholeheartedly. Cast all your fears aside and trust in him. And I can tell you that with bold assurance that he's able. I am a living, walking, breathing testimony that if you trust in him, he will definitely come right on time. You always hear that the Lord is going to come on time. It may not be our time, but it'll be his time. And can I tell you how sweet his time is? When he shows up, he shows out. Okay? He shows out. He just don't show up and say, okay, I'm going to pull you out of this. No, he says, I'm going to pull you out of this and I'm going to give you this and this and this and this. And then I'm going to give you some of that too. He put icing on the cake. So, be encouraged to continue to stay faithful in the Lord. Trust in him in all things that you do. Counsel him in all things that you do. Consider him in all things that you do. I mean, all things. The good things and the bad things. Okay? I'm not just speaking about being holy and all gracious and all that good stuff. There's times that we get weak and the bad thoughts come into our minds or things that we know we're not supposed to do, but you're doing it anyway. Just think about him just for a second. Like, will he be okay if I do this? Nah, he wouldn't. And then sometimes, as I'm learning in my Bible study, sometimes you get immediate answers. So when you're praying, you pray for an answer. And you may get an immediate answer, but you have to be still, listen, and be open-minded. So keep the faith. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Smile with your eyes. Tell the people around you that you love them. We got to love each other because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. All right. Have a wonderful day.